to Roadies Roam the World. This week, on episode 5 of our Alaska adventure, we travel from Valdez to Glacier View, Alaska. Along the way, we stop at our second national park, Wrangell-St. Elias.
We are at Wrangell-St. Elias National Park Visitor Center. I want to get another stamp for my passport.
We decided that this was acceptable since we were so close to this national park and so close to the entrance to the visitor center that we would stop in and get kids.
That's right.
So basically what happens is this gets put in the water, in the river, and it goes around and it scoops up the fish and they come into this part and then it just keeps doing that and the current of the river just makes it keep going around. We watched it at the museum in Valdez yesterday.
Wrangell-St. Elias became a national park in 1980 and is the largest of all the national parks in the United States at just over 13 million acres. This is the world's largest internationally protected area and why it's a World Heritage Site. Here, the Wrangell, St. Elias, and Chugach mountain ranges converge. The park contains North America's largest number of glaciers and peaks over 16,000 feet in elevation. One of the park's glaciers, the Malaspina, is larger than the state of Rhode Island, and Mount St. Elias is the second highest peak in the United States at 18,008 feet. We didn't stay long at Wrangell-St. Elias National Park, but I got a great book recommendation from one of the park rangers before we left. It's called Of Wolves and Men by Barry Lopez, and I recommend the read. Soon, we are on the Glen Highway, making our way to our final destination for the night, Glacier View, Alaska, and Matanuska Glacier. Along the way, we make a few stops to admire the Alaskan landscape. Our arrival at Matanuska Glacier was a bit disappointing. It is advertised that you can drive right up to the glacier, and while that might be true, we didn't think about the condition of the road going to the glacier. In our mind, it was right off the highway. We couldn't take the RV down that road per our rental agreement. But we didn't let that discourage us. We drove up the highway a little ways, thinking we could scope out a spot to park so that we could hike to the glacier. We thought it would be 4 to 5 hours round trip, so we found a state recreational area where we could also camp just east of Glacier View. We found a camp spot, got Mom settled in, and we were off to hike the glacier.
Okay, so the bear chewed the bark off the tree.
I don't think if he clawed that off, which I don't think he did, there'd be deeper claw marks in it. And it's not a rubbing tree because he rubbed on it with his back.
Right.
We quickly discovered that we were not going to be able to hike to the glacier. This is the view of the glacier from one of the scenic overlooks along the hike we did take. This hike was a loop that offered some scenic views of Matanuska Glacier. Matanuska Glacier is one of Alaska's oldest glaciers. At 13,000 feet high, 27 miles long, and 4 miles across, it can easily be seen at mile 101 of the Glen Highway. This glacier forms at the base of the Chugach Mountains, spilling into the Matsu Valley below. Matanuska Glacier has been retreating to its present location for the last 10,000 years and has remained fairly stable for the last 30 years. Retreating about a foot per day, the glacier provides the headwaters to the Matanuska River below and form the valley that exists today. The Matanuska Glacier State Recreation Area is 300 acres that provides glacier viewing starting from the parking lot and continuing along the interpretive nature trail. The Alaska DNR website clearly states there is no glacier access from the recreation site. Guess we should have checked that out before we went. We were up early to begin our longest day drive of the whole trip. Today we leave Matanuska Glacier State Recreation Area to drive to Seward, Alaska. We drove through Palmer, home of the Alaska State Fair, which happens to be going on the whole month of August, but we didn't have time to stop. Instead, we stopped in Anchorage for more groceries and some lunch. Our drive south on the Seward Highway begins by driving along the Turnagain Arm. The Arm is one of two waterways at the north end of Cook Inlet. Fabled to be the Northwest Passage, Captain James Cook was forced to turn again when he realized it was not a path through the continent. The Turnagain Arm is known to be a scenic drive, but maybe more famously, it's known for the boar tide that can come twice daily. Tidal bores are an unusual sight and are caused by a unique combination of hydrology and geography, which happens to exist in the Cook Inlet. The Cook Inlet has a large tidal range, and it's the only place in the U.S. where such boar tides form. These extreme tides hit the narrow, shallow, and sloping floor of the Turnagain Arm, causing water to rush along at up to 24 miles per hour. The rapidly rising tidewaters are forced up and form a raised front that can reach 6 feet tall depending on conditions. Boar tide surfing is popular among locals and entails riding the wave for several miles rather than short burst rides of traditional surfing. As we leave the Turnagain Arm, we continue to head south to our final destination for the next few days.
Welcome to Seward, Alaska!
Next time on Roadies Roam the World, join us in Seward, Alaska and Kenai Fjords National Park.